last season and this season without Patrick Ewing in the lineup.
And that's the thing that fuels speculation that the New York Knicks are much better without Patrick Ewing in the lineup, and that small ball favors the Knicks, and the Indiana Pacers can't handle speed.
Balderdash. You never have too many good ball players out there. But the Knicks have to go with what they have. Make no excuses. Bring their game.
Balderdash, that's a new word.
That's a good one. Here's the lob into Smits, who had the great start for Game 3. And the Pacers, plagued by turnovers in that game, turn it over their first possession in Game 4. Here's Larry Johnson without Ewing. He's the primary post-up player, and he drives baseline for the reverse.
Now that drive is there for him every single time because Davis is shading toward the middle of the floor.
Larry Johnson going quickly that time. Normally he waits. Caught Dale Davis unprepared, off guard.
Now, the Knicks' chore is to keep the Indiana Pacers, a good perimeter team, out on the perimeter. Number 14 will get whistled for his first foul.
Chris Dudley.
2 post-entry passes to Smits, both of them too far out in front of him. You got to bring the ball to the man.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what sitters always need, something brought to them.
We've noticed that a lot in our travels with our center. Reggie Miller off the screen, firing no good. And Charlie Ward picks it up for New York. Sprewell looks to be moving pretty well, too. He was flying down the court in front of us. Here is Sprewell.
Well, you know, Sprewell said yesterday, I don't care what the doctor said, I'm playing. I'm going to be here for my guys. Now, how effective he's going to be, we'll find out, but he had already determined he was going to play.
In the old days, they didn't even have MRIs. He said, look, if it hurts, just go out there and play until you can't play anymore. That's the position Sprewell's in right now.
Mark Jackson, his post-up game, not much in evidence in Game 3, primarily because Rick Smits had the inside his own way. He posts up Charlie Ward and gets a foul on Ward, number 1.
You rarely see Mark Jackson turn and face. He has the back-to-the-basket game. And he turns his turn-and-face move into a back-to-the-basket jump hook, and Charlie Ward, a little bit of body contact, incidental.
Mark Jackson, the former Knick, Rookie of the Year in a Knicks uniform, and played his collegiate basketball at St. John's.
Also one of the players who attended Malik Sealy's funeral at the start of that long Memorial Day weekend. Mark Jackson had recruited Malik Sealy out of high school to come and carry on the tradition for the Redmen after Mark graduated.
His 2 free throws tie the game at 2.
The 2 primary scorers, Houston and Sprewell, have to have the same kind of games, a quick shot and a foul on Reggie Miller.
Houston outplayed Miller in Game 3, and here early draws a foul from Reggie.
Played him on his way to the bench. Reggie Miller keeping those hands in there. Generally, as an offensive force like Houston, when you see a player leaning, reaching with his hands, throw the ball into him, extend into your shot, you'll get a trip to the line.
Houston normally pretty automatic at the free throw line, 84% of the regular season.
A lack of turnovers, 0 turnovers in Game 3 for Allen Houston. Van Gundy telling us that will be critical today because the Knicks rarely out-rebound an opponent and need to keep their turnovers down to offset that rebound deficit.
What Jackson and the Indiana Pacers have to do is avoid the pressure as Miller gets 3 of Charlie Ward, Chris Childs on the ball. That's where they got a lot of turnovers in Game 3.
Reggie Miller using a double screen to launch that 3. In Game 3, Houston outscored Miller 28-19. Here's Larry Johnson. And a foul again out on the floor. This one on Dale Davis.
Reggie Miller is a guy that knows how to work without the ball, and he's going to finally find room. He came out early to make sure that these things were going to be true to the mark, because he's not going to be sitting down in this ball game.
What is a moving screen?
Well, like that. There's one. Thank you. Right on cue. Did you and Mike Mathis orchestrate that? Chris Dudley called for his second foul, and when he's picking him up on the offensive end, that's not good. perfect textbook example of a moving screen.
Sliding around, and that's going to get Kurt Thomas into the ball game. Dudley was very good for them in game 3, and they're going to need him and all of his fouls in this ball game.
Let me mark this day now. Steve Jones saying nice things about Chris Dudley.
Jalen Rose, they need to get him started earlier. Had a terrific fourth quarter. Not much in the first 3. Mark Jackson, three-pointer, no good. Allen Houston didn't have a rebound in game 3. Pulls this one down. Thomas.
Kurt Thomas will make that shot. He can get you a double-double as long as he gets the minutes. As long as he stays out of foul trouble. He has to play his game as a star now, no longer a role player, Kurt Thomas.
Back in his days at TCU, Kurt Thomas, as Rose misses, had an offensive board. Kurt Thomas led the nation both in rebounding and in scoring. Only the third player to do that. Miller, misfiring of 3. Larry Johnson gives it up to Ward.
The Pacers are going to try to win this game deep. They have taken 4 3-pointers already early in the ball game.
Thomas.
Charlie Ward. You can't keep him off the glass. Too
Charlie
quick, too explosive.
We have to put him at center after the shot block on Smits. And now the offensive putback for Charlie Ward. Every time there's a hustle play, you'll see number 21. Miller missing a 3. And Ward the rebound.
Get running here. Attack if you're Latrell Sprewell. Nice passing.
Thomas has to kick it back outside. Look at the move by Houston. Gorgeous move. Reggie Miller right back. Good.
Miller is going to be aggressive, and he is shooting almost every time he gets it. So that means you're going to have to defend him anywhere out on the floor. And if you're Allen Houston, you got to continue to attack, take the sting out by getting some fouls on him.
What has happened to the Pacers' interior defense? They used to be very good at that.
Johnson for 3.
The inability of the Pacers to defend off the dribble. Sprewell or Houston attack, but everybody else has to rotate. They're a step late. That gives wide open threes to Johnson and everyone else.
Knicks have their biggest lead. Dale Davis turning on Kurt Thomas. Pretty move by Dale Davis. His first basket. The lead is 3.
Maybe the best offensive sequence for both teams combined at any point throughout the series.
Good drive, Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward now with 4 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist.
They wouldn't let him come across the middle. He made a quick decision, went hard to the baseline. Nice change of hands and pressure on Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson, he needs to pay more attention to Charlie Ward. He's giving him an offensive rebound, a dribble drive penetration.
Rick Smith, his first shot of the game, falls off on the floor, picked up by New York momentarily. Then Jackson had it and saves it to Davis. Here's Miller behind the 3-point line. It's good.
Not today. Not today. He's not going to go down without his blazing. 8 1/4 for Reggie Miller. 2 3-point field goals. Van Gundy wants to have a talk.
3 of 6 shooting for Reggie Miller. Embarrassed perhaps by watching the final minutes of game 3 from the Indiana bench. He comes out firing today, hitting 3 of his first 6 shots, and there's a 3-pointer down. He has 8. Indiana within 2. Van Gundy holding the lead.